Hey guys, it's Sadie. Before we get started, let me just give a big thank you to Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air for being a sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast. And right now they have an amazing deal. Warmer weather, it's starting to get here. Oh, what this past weekend was so great. It was so nice and everybody was outside. It was just great. But you know what's coming soon? Soon we're going to be dealing with the ridiculous heat.
Yeah, it's hot. It is hot. We're finally getting hot.
And it comes before you know it. So get your spring tune-up. It's only $99 and it includes preventative AC maintenance, meaning you get anything fixed or tuned up that you need to before you got to crank it up. Because what happens if you don't get a little thing fixed and then it just completely destroys your whole system? I mean, listen, if you want to save money with energy costs, you want it to be running like a top. And that's what they can do at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air. They'll come in, they'll change the filters, they'll clean sensors and condensers, and that's only $99. Again, it's the spring tune-up. Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air. Get that appointment in today. It's Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air. PolarBearPHA.com is where you'll find them. Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.
I'm going to say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Let's talk about marriage.
They have like a 2-second rebound rate and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
Parenting. Oh my gosh.
They have sucked the pretty right out of me. They treat me like it, and I do their laundry. Lucky me.
Sex.
I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Scary stuff like ghosts. I know it's totally out of left field, but just go with me on this.
Boo, you whore.
Love.
I give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you.
Friendships.
Wink and our necklace says best friends forever.
Actually, you want it to say forever? I don't think you guys will be best friends forever, no offense. But sometimes you grow apart, and maybe she'll find a new best friend. They end up doing everything together.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Sadie and Friends. And before we get started, again, I know I just said that with the endorsement that I just did, but really quickly before we jump into today, which it's a Friday special with Misty Gemstone.
Ooh, Fridays. I feel like I got promoted. Friday's a big day.
Friday's a big day. And we have a very interesting topic for Friday when it comes to mental health. She's our mental health expert. But I want to thank everybody because I've started saying at the end of the podcast, the best thing you can do is just spread the word and tell people. And I think it's working because I'm getting a lot more bumps.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, and I'm not those kind of. We were talking off there. I said I wouldn't even know where to get that, Stephanie. And she was asking. No, see, so what we're doing right now, this laughing, this is actually what today's episode is about. It's about the power of laughter and how not only is it just so good for you mentally, but there are actual physical reasons why laughter is actually incredibly good for your body too. So it's good for your body. It's good for your soul. You should do it at least one time a day. How often, Misty, would you say, which I listened to the last episode we did, and I slipped and said your name like 4 times.
It's about 50-50 every time.
Isn't it? I try so hard. When would you say the last time was that you truly died laughing? You can't remember?
Like crying, laughing, like tears running down my face.
Yeah.
Was probably Sunday or Monday. There was something I did or said, and I was like, I have no idea why. And my husband was looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And I just lost it. And I was in my own world.
Like almost makes it even more entertaining when they're like, what is wrong with you?
And then you can't stop.
I know. It makes it so much better. Laughter is, again, the best medicine. And there's a reason behind that saying. So, Misty, give us some of the actual physical. Well, do you want me to do physical and you can talk about mental? Because there's both on this list that we can go through. And there's also short-term benefits to laughter. And then there are long-term benefits to laughter. And so we're going to go down that as well. And then sprinkled in throughout the episode, I'm going to be playing clips from who I think are some of the funniest comedians out there. So there's going to be some of that peppered in. And hopefully this Friday, we will have a lot to laugh about, and we'll learn a lot about laughing.
I've thought about like time travel. Like if I went back in time, knowing everything I know now, I don't think I would make a difference. I don't think you would even hear about it. If I went back to the 20s and I like saw some guy on like an old phone, I would be like, hey, eventually they have phones you just carry in your pocket. And he'd be like, yeah, how do they do it? It's like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. It's like a satellite or something. And they'd be like, what's a satellite? Well, I shouldn't have even brought that up then. It's like a round metal dish or something that's got to go pretty high in the air. I honestly don't think I could prove I'm from the future. I mean, they would want some proof, you know? Who's the next president? Oh, boy.
There is truly the best medicine.
It truly is.
It truly is. So we're going to start this off before we go into any of these lists.
Yeah.
Just by laughing. And so I do this sometimes with people when we need to just like kind of release stress and like bring our heart rate like back in, you know, sometimes when it's racing because you're super anxious.
Yeah.
So bring it back down. And the best way to do that is you just start fake laughing and it turns into real laughing. So we're going to do that. Okay.
Oh, is this what you do with your patients?
We're going to do it. Yeah.
I'm already laughing. Are you really laughing?
I'm trying to get you to laugh.
Oh my God, it's working. Are you still fake laughing? Because I'm real laughing.
No, now I went into, see, and then I get the tears going.
Okay, but wait, does that work on a patient? Like it works for you and me,
but it works. Like try it with people. If you start fake laughing and you keep it going, you eventually start real laughing, and whoever you're with will start real laughing. And it's the best thing ever.
I can honestly say that exercise did work. And I think everybody needs to try it. But I can honestly say I've never even heard of that before. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
That actually worked. So when do you bust that out? Or like during a heavy session with somebody? Are you like, okay, I'm going to fake laugh? I mean, when do you bring that Uzi out?
It just depends on the situation. But sometimes if you know we just need to reset, maybe we did just talk about something really heavy and we need to reset. So then we can take a deep breath and move forward from it. You can just break it up with laughing.
Now, do you preface it by saying all that like you did with me?
We'll do an activity.
You don't just start laughing and hope. That's true. Because then they may be like, you suck.
Yeah. It's always preface. It's a great icebreaker if you are nervous and you're about to like lead a group or give a presentation, and you can just get everybody in the room laughing, and it kind of just lets that deep exhale happen. It's a wonderful tool.
Wow. I've never heard of that before, but that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to the two guys talking though, and one of them used a word that really made me angry. He used the word hilarious. None of us think about the words we use anymore. We just go right for the top shelf for the words. Genius. You're a genius for anything now. Used to be, you had to invent a number to be a genius. Now it's like, hey, I got a cup in case we need another cup. You're a genius. So this guy used hilarious. I remember the context exactly. The two guys were talking. One guy goes, guess who I saw today? And his friend goes, who? I swear to God, he said it like that. It just slid out like, tighten your lips up, man. Make an effort. This guy's just secreting words out of the front of his head. So his friend goes, I saw Lisa today. And he goes, that's hilarious. How is that hilarious? Do you know what hilarious means? Hilarious means so funny, you almost went insane. That's how funny hilarious is. So funny, it almost ruined your life. That's how funny hilarious. I don't know this Lisa, but she ain't that funny.
Sent me something earlier today, and it was about stress relief and how you can get it from laughter. Let me go through some of these just short-term benefits of finding laughter every day. I'm an embarrassment because where I find my absolute deepest laughter is on watching funny videos on Reels. Like, if you ever seen this video, it is so funny. And every time I see it, I laugh. And it's the redheaded guy. And he's like walking up the driveway and there are these two women talking and he's not doing anything wrong. He wants to get their attention. And so he's like, excuse me. And the woman turns and just loses her shit screaming.
Like some chemical smell.
Yeah,
You'll
thanks.
smell it.
Oh, this is no
And he threw flakes in it.
Mommy, this is no car.
You throw this. Sorry.
Holy shit.
Sorry. I'm here to pick up something.
If I'm ever sad, if I'm ever depressed, I just watch redheaded guy. And I just laugh so hard.
I don't know if I've seen that one. You'll have to send it to me.
Oh my God. Also, I will put it in a video so that way, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to actually see what I post.
And you know, it's not silly to watch funny reels. Like, it actually can be a great way to take a break in the middle of your day or wind down your day, depending on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Because they do get you laughing. I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to get sucked into reels is just
you start laughing.
Yes.
Oh, I love it so much. So here are some of the short-term benefits. I didn't even think about this, but this actually makes sense. You stimulate many organs because laughter enhances your intake of oxygen-rich air, which stimulates your heart and lungs and muscles and increases the endorphins that are released by your brain. So you might have heard of endorphins. That's mostly, you hear it when working out, but it's that big flash of like, yes, amazing feeling. You feel high, you know, taking a bump, you know, Steph, just like what you were asking about earlier. Also a short-term effect. It will activate and relieve your stress response by laughing. What does it say? It fires up. I need glasses.
Rollicking laugh fires up and then cools down your stress response.
Thank you so much, because I'm getting blind. You know, I have to wear like readers now. I have to wear glasses when I watch TV.
Well, you know.
Well, so do you want to take over what some of these short-term ones are since I'm blind?
It's fine. Yeah. I kind of what we were just doing with that laughter exercise to make yourself laugh, but it like helps activate your stress response. So a lot of times our body lives more in a fight or flight stress response than we realize. And so we're constantly or more often on high alert, whether that's different situations, whether that's just past traumatic events that have wired that within us to live at a higher level of anxiety, worry, fear, all of that. Laughter helps to calm that. Laughter helps to break that and ease that tension, which is sometimes why I do use it, because we can then activate our stress response to bring it down and release, you know, all that anxiety that we're hanging on to.
Where did you learn that? Did you just pick that up like in a therapy magazine?
I learned it somewhere. So and this can be a whole nother episode, is activating your stress response. Like, I think working out, and it could just be, I could stand up right now and start doing jumping jacks, and that could be enough to activate it. Laughing, a hug, activate your stress response. It has to be a minimum of 20 seconds, which is a very long hug. If you've ever hugged anyone for 20 seconds, you start to hit that awkwardness at 10 seconds. People normally don't hug for long. It's like.
So will you tell Misty, will you tell Steve when you go in for a hug, will you say, Steve, it's got to be 20 seconds or nothing, baby?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
And my kids too, you know, I'll be like, do you need a hug? And then they know I'm going to stand there for at least 20 seconds if they're in need of a hug, because I know that helps. And you can feel the breathing start to slow down.
Oh my God. You were like an amazing mother. My mom would have been like, stop crying. We had very different upbringings, I think, Steph. Oh, damn it, Misty.
Well, then old Timmy threw me a curveball I wasn't expecting. He said, it's too bad you can't stay, Dave, because Mom made stovetop stuffing. I said, what the stovetop? Well, hold on. Let me make some phone calls real quick. I had seen that commercial so many times. I had dreamt of getting my hands on some of that stovetop stuffing. And finally, I met a motherfucker that actually had a box of stovetop in the house. I couldn't miss this opportunity, so I pretended to call my mother. And then I came back and I said, Timmy, you're not going to believe this great news. Mom said I can stay. And he said, fantastic. He said, why don't you come with me and we'll help set the table and then we can say the blessing. I had no interest in setting this motherfucker's table or saying these crazy-ass Mormon prayers. I just wanted that stuffing.
Now, do you want to go? Should we go into long-term benefits of laughing every day or as much as you possibly can?
We can go into long-term benefits.
Okay. So some of the long-term benefits of laughing every day, it helps your immune system because it so blind. Negative thoughts manifest into a chemical reaction. And I always say this, you have to have a good vibe, to have a good outcome. You have to have positivity. You have to know that it's going to be okay. I know you said the other day, and we kind of talked about it, but you were talking about radical acceptance. And so I've been reading into that. And there's something incredibly freeing, but I have found that radical acceptance only works for people who are, say, like the youngest child, who are okay with letting go and just falling, to where somebody like Ryan, the oldest child in his family, he's like, I said something today where I said, well, the universe is in control. And he's like, I hate that. I hate that. And I don't know where I was going with that story. Do you know where? We were talking about
because negative thoughts, and negative thinking actually do. And there's science behind this, have a chemical reaction in your brain. And so that can actually impact your immune system. It can make you more physically ill at times because your immune system's impacted, because it's
weak.
Compare it to glass half full, glass half empty mentality. But if you're always looking at the negative, you can make yourself sick.
Hey guys, breaking in here just really quick. Give me one quick second to talk about show sponsor Christiana Salon Spa. We are coming up, guys, at the end of the school year. I know that we're almost to spring break and we still got some time left. You know how fast that's going to go? It goes so fast, and then summer is here, and then you know what's going to happen? Then you got the kids home all day long, and that could be really stressful. Maybe so stressful you break out in pimples everywhere. I mean, not only are you exhausted and tired of doing crafts and playing with Play-Doh, but now you got pimples everywhere. I mean, why not take a break and go see my friends at Christiana Salon Spa? Get a nice facial, maybe a hot stone massage. Hand the kids over to your husband and say, I'm out of here. Or vice versa. They also, I don't want to say they service men because that sounds weird, but they also have treatments for men as well. So why not go on to ChristianaSalonSpa.com? Christiana Salon Spa, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast. I think everybody has maybe heard this next one. This is the next long-term effect of laughter, which that's what the topic is today with Misty Gemstone, my mental health expert, who is so kind enough to come in once a week and talk to us about different mental health. But I think we've all heard this one. It relieves pain. Laughter may ease pain by causing the body to produce its own natural painkillers. That's amazing.
The body's pretty amazing. And if we just utilize what we have. Now, I will say there are other mental health conditions out there that do need medication and other kinds of treatments. But if we're just talking about baseline, everyday living and mood, laughter truly can heal us or help us feel better.
Increases personal satisfaction, another long-term effect. Laughing can also make it easier to cope with difficult situations. Misty, this is what you were just talking about with that exercise. It also helps you connect with other people. And that's true. Nothing says you're letting your guard down more than if you start laughing with a person.
Yeah. Laughing can turn into a huge vulnerability, believe it or not. And some of that is for example, if I'm deep in laughter, or when we just did that exercise, if I laugh to a certain point or hard enough, I just have tears running down my face. It's a form of crying. It's a complete opposite form of crying than releasing emotions out of sadness.
Yeah.
But there's a vulnerability there because people don't like to have other people see them cry. And so there is a vulnerability to be able to truly let your guard down and actually laugh. Some people might snort. Your nose might start running. There's so many different things that a lot of people try and keep hidden.
Now, this one is interesting to me. This one says, make it a habit to spend time with your friends who make you laugh and then return the favor by sharing funny stories or jokes. That was dumb. I thought this list kept going.
Real estate agents have to deal with the dumbest people in the world making the biggest decisions of their lives. Every episode of HGTV is like Craig and Stasia are looking for a 2-story A-frame that's near Craig's job in the downtown, but also satisfies Stasia's need to be near the beach, which is nowhere near Craig's job. With 3 children and 9 on the way, and a max budget of $7. Let's see what Lori Jo can do on this week's episode of You Don't Deserve a Beach House.
Consider have you ever heard of this? Laughter yoga?
Yeah, there are actually different classes you can go to, like workout classes and things like that are based on laughter. And because laughter yoga is also because you do some deep belly breathing, or, sometimes you go into deep belly stuff, that you do laughter with it.
Wait.
Completely different approach than what we're used to with power yoga.
I was going to say, when we go to yoga, Misty and me, it's like, shh, nobody talk. Don't talk. Don't be too loud. If someone coughs, it's like, oh, wow, that guy. But I think that would kind of freak me out to be in a room full of people trying to laugh. And how do you do yoga and laugh like that?
Typically, it's more with the breath work.
So it's like, ha, ha, ha.
But you can do laughter. Then think of when you're in a balancing. Like, I'm terrible at yoga pose names, but
like
if you're
a crow.
in tree or, crow, I would be very impressed for people holding crow laughing.
Yeah, no
hard.
doubt.
But if you're in tree or something and try laughing, it gives you a little instability there that you have to like right yourself. So there's some benefit there too.
I literally can't believe that there's an actual class that's dedicated to.
That should be our secret class that we're going to have in our wellness center.
Oh my gosh. Misty and I are opening. Da, 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 da. We are opening.
You can edit it out if you want.
No, it's destiny. Misty and we're opening up a wellness Spencer / dispensary, and it'll be like a cafe hang sesh, but you can also take a yoga class. And that's our dream. And we talk about it all the time. We're going to have mental health experts led by Misty Gemstone. We're going to have classes, all kinds of fun ones. We're going to have classes till midnight where we just have a great time. It's not going to be stuffy. It's going to be a place where you can come and truly recharge. That's our vision. And where you can laugh. I will say something. Such a huge part of your personality is also in what you do for your job. Because if you are miserable all day, it's so important to have that one friend that you work with where you just look at each other and then you start laughing at something. And if you don't have that, I believe that's a very long waste of your life every day.
And it is so great to have that outlet. If you don't have that at work, have that in a friend that you can just send gifts, GIFs, whatever it is. Those
so
little
old.
things.
I can't read.
I can get through a day sometimes by sending gifts. And that's my way to communicate a whole conversation. And the other person will know what I'm saying or what I'm referring to. Or maybe they don't, but they respond enough with another one and we can keep it going. You and I could do that.
Yeah.
I do that with certain coworkers. And it truly helps. I'll start laughing out loud in my office by myself. And it just is the best thing in the world.
I love it. What is the most important thing that you want to leave this episode? What do you think is the most, how do I ask this question, Stephanie?
The most important thing about laughter?
That's a dumb question.
Well, I will flag this about laughter too, is sometimes when we find ourselves in discomfort, we laugh. Not everybody.
That's true.
But if you think about sometimes the first response when somebody hears really hard news or bad news, is to laugh. Or at a funeral, sometimes you have somebody who laughs.
Is that?
And it is a way of coping. And then just think of what laughter does to activate the stress response.
Yeah.
And so that discomfort can bring on what people view as a very inappropriate response to certain things. And it's not intentional. It's not that the person's out there laughing because this one person passed away or because of the news that was delivered, but it's a way of coping when you take in such hard, tragic, or uncomfortable news.
I wish I lived in your kind world that you live in and raise your kids, because listen to this nightmare of a story just about that. I went to this church group and the speaker one night was a woman, and she comes in and she tells us about how she was molested, essentially. And she's telling her story, and everyone is feeling tears and sadness. And I am thinking, why do I want to laugh? It makes sense now how you explain it, but I started laughing. I was sitting in the front. I will never forget this. And she stops and she goes, so you think molestation is funny? And I was like laughing even harder. I had to leave the church, never been back to church not since then. I just walked out and said, I don't belong here. But now that makes perfect sense. You laugh because it's your own way of getting out of that uncomfortable feeling. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to end it like that?
I think that's a great ending.
Misty, you did it again. You opened my eyes, knocked it out.
Should we laugh on another, or should we laugh? Should we end on another laughing exercise?
I don't know. The first one scared me a little. We don't even need to do it.
In today's America, no child ever loses. There are no losers anymore. Everyone's a winner. No matter what the game or sport or competition, everybody wins. Everybody wins, everybody gets a trophy. No one is a loser. No child these days ever gets to hear those all-important character-building words. You lost, Bobby. You lost. You're a loser, Bobby. They miss out on that. You know what they tell a kid who lost these days? You were the last winner. A lot of these kids never get to hear the truth about themselves until they're in their 20s, when their boss calls them in and says, Bobby, clean the shit out of your desk and get the out of here. You're a loser.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Sadie and Friends. I feel so lucky that I get to do this, and I get to do it because of sponsors, and those sponsors pay me, and then I get to do this for a job. How amazing is that? But I want you to know that I'm very picky about who I talk about. I love small business owners, like let's say Garage Door Service and Sales. Tony and Patrice, they've been running that joint for decades. Family owned and operated, locally owned and operated, handed down from generations. I probably did endorsements for them on the radio for well over a decade, almost the entire time I had a radio career. And now I'm podcasting, and they are so great to work with still. So pick up the phone and give them a call today. Maybe you got a broken spring. Maybe you want better technology. You want a more secure home. You're going to find all the perks at GarageDoorServiceandSales.com. So pick up the phone, go online, see what they have to offer. You won't be disappointed. And they're just wonderful people. It's Garage Door Service and Sales, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.